For several decades, successive Nigerian governments made unsuccessful attempts at getting Nigeria's conventional refineries to operate at full capacity. Consequently, Nigeria has remained heavily dependent on imported refined petroleum products that are procured at significant cost. These trends have similarly continued to impact negatively on the country's foreign earnings and ultimately its external reserves, as well as resulted in uneven distribution of petroleum products across the country. It was in order to stem this unpleasant trend and to also address related challenges of bunkering and operation of illegal refineries that the federal government, through the Ministry of Petroleum Resources, granted licenses for establishment and operation of modular refineries. Welcome to tonight's episode of BOI Impact, where we shall be showcasing Niger Delta Petroleum Refinery (NDPR), the first private refinery in Nigeria that commenced operation in December 2011. The modular refinery is located in Ogbele community in Ahoda East local government area, which is about 40 kilometers northwest of Port Harcourt in Rivers State. Modular refineries are increasingly providing countries, especially low-income countries, with the benefit of forward integration. They are said to be more cost-effective alternatives to conventional refineries. Tonight's program is a demonstration of the can-do spirit of Nigerian entrepreneurs. ND Refineries is a 100% wholly owned Nigerian company. BOI Impact crew was at the refinery recently to see how the hitherto 5,000 per day refinery has expanded its refining capacity tenfold with additional 10,000 barrels per day that is being implemented in two phases with BOI's active support. I am Hadiza Olaoshibiko. Welcome. Niger Delta Refinery was the first private refinery in Nigeria to receive an operating license by the federal government and has the sole right to sell surplus diesel fuel to local market. The company, after expansion, will be refining additional 10,000 barrels of its products such as diesel, marine diesel, dual-purpose kerosene, high-pour fuel oil, and naphtha. At a recent visit to the site, the crew underwent safety lectures in line with global best practice and dressed properly before the operations manager, Femi Olaniyan, took us on a tour of the modern and automated refinery.
Aviation fuel for planes and the rest of it is one of the products from the refinery. So this is the loadout gantry where products will be dispensed into trucks after metering. If we go closer, you see something like a U, and that's the meter. So when trucks come, they position, stay, and somebody will be on top of the platform at the deck there. You lift the loadout arm and drop it inside the truck to dispense the product. So this is loadout gantry for ND Refinery. Because of the refinery expansion, we had to expand the capacity to load out products with multiple products, multiple trucks at the same time, such that we can evacuate 11 trucks within 45 minutes. So this is the loadout island. We have 5 islands, and with each island, there's a possibility of loading different products. Remember, the product from the refinery will be petrol, PMS. There will be jet fuel, we call it DPK. So if you see DPK, that's jet fuel. There will be AGO, which is diesel. There will be marine diesel. There will be heavy fuel oil. So all those 5 products can be loaded from this island, from this station here. Like I said, there are 5 islands, and on each island you can load 2 trucks simultaneously, one on the right, one on the left. And the operator stays on the platform to use the loadout arm into the truck and then dispense product appropriately. So our plan is to be able to evacuate 10 trucks concurrently from here within 1 hour. And then the old island will still serve the purpose of diesel evacuation. The appropriate safety devices, we have shutdown valve, emergency shutdown buttons in case of maybe a truck is spilling over and you want to stop the pumps, you press the emergency shutdown button. And in case of fire anywhere, also press the button. We have deluge system in case of fire to sprinkle around the truck. These are the product tanks. You could see there are 3 DPK tanks. Remember, DPK is jet fuel. So there are 3 DPK tanks. Each of the tanks is 1.5 million liters. Then we have, for other products, the ones with aluminum covering. It's where we have heavy fuel oil. So that's insulation. We insulate it because that product has to stay at a particular temperature. Otherwise, it will solidify in piping or in the storage tank. So we've had to insulate it. 2 of them is for heavy fuel oil. This one on the right-hand side is that is also insulated, is for marine diesel. Then north of it we have diesel tank. Each of these tanks are 10,000 barrels capacity or 1.5 million liters capacity. Because of the refinery administrative building here, we need to provide what they call bollards, so that when trucks are coming to load products, there's no chance that they can run into the building. So these bollards will be barriers. There will be steel pipes, very strong steel pipes, just like a barrier to prevent any collision or any diversion of a truck towards this area. So a contractor is doing it. They've casted the base. When it cures, they will then install a pipe, a piece of pipe, thick wall pipe, and then connect it to some other pipes to make sure it's a barrier from people or trucks driving this way. It's all part of safety measures, standard industry practice as well, because we place premium to safety, and indeed we want to look good, because ultimately it's part of the getting certification from ISO.
Due to high volatility of the product, Niger Delta Refinery have put measures in place to combat fire outbreak.
So monitor and hydrants, because of the intrinsic hazard in an operation like this, you could have fire anytime. So we've had to adopt industry practice, international best practice, to provide this monitor and hydrant in case of fire. Such that you can eject out water from here at very high flow rate to fight such fire. Underneath is several kilometers of buried pipe carrying water, high flow rate. We have some pumps the pumps are inside the facility to dump water into the line, and then from here they fight fire with it with very, very high flow rate. So we have a number of them. This is one. There's another one down there. So wherever you have fire, you can reach out to it. And the reach of this particular one is expected to throw as far as 100 meters. In case of fire, you can throw 100 meters away from here. We have a number of contractors here. That's why you see different coveralls. These are all Nigerian contractors employing Nigerians, and most of the workers are actually from the community. They've had the opportunity to work here and livelihood and also acquire skills. We've had to buy and install new generators to increase our power generating capacity. So there it's capacity to generate up to 2 megawatts of electricity. There are 3 generators, again, different capacity, and the principle is to provide sufficient robustness in terms of power generation. Our load in the plant, in the refinery, is less than their capacity, but we've provided the capacity to ensure reliable power all year round, because we can't afford a blink in power. So this has been fully installed, commissioned, and it has been integrated with the older generators.
To ensure staff are up to date with trends, training was ongoing when we were there.
Right now we've done all of the cold alignments on all the machines out there, and once the plant gets started up, some of the especially train 2 pumps that get hotter, they're going to need most likely a hot alignment. And we went through that as well with the OH2, OH1, the reason why an OH1 would need it more than an OH2. But you can use the vibration tool to tell you for sure whether you need to do that hot alignment.
Welcome back. Indeed, Nigeria is a country blessed with dogged entrepreneurs who can grow local brands from scratch to enviable heights. The story of ND Refinery is one of such ventures, from producing 1,000 barrels per day in 2011 to 10,000 barrels per day, from refining only diesel to adding marine diesel MDO, dual-purpose kerosene DPK, high-pur fuel oil HPFO, and naphtha. The MD of the company tells us more.
Welcome to Niger Delta.
When we went to Port Harcourt,
Okay.
it was really impressive seeing
Oh.
the plant.
Wow, thank
and
you.
The expansion program.
Thank you.
Very impressed.
Well, I can assure you that's one of the best assets that we have in terms of priding ourselves as a small Nigerian company, deploying essentially Nigerians, working in our facilities. And I would say that we have tremendously benefited from it. We have a very young workforce. They're very, very talented. They're very, very devoted, very committed, loyal, and very hardworking. I couldn't say anything less about how we pride our workforce. We've been in production now for 14 years, and we have built for ourselves a very, very nice workforce, essentially Nigerians. In fact, wholesomely Nigerians, essentially 100% Nigerians. As a Nigerian enterprise, spending a lot of cash for major project development, we seem unable to generate sufficiency of internal cash flow to meet our project funding expectations. So when we get a bank that comes to the rescue, it makes such a lot of difference to, first of all, the way we implement the project, the timing with which we can deliver the project, and the fact that we are here. You don't have to start to speak about Nigerian risk, which is a major, major question mark for receiving or receipt of funds from outside of Nigeria.
Furthermore, he spoke on the advantages of having a modular refinery in the country.
Well, I think the most significant thing is that we can get ourselves to execute this project in a very timely manner. By all measures, this is a very major and very upsized project for us. But when you think in terms of the cost benefit, not just for us as a company, but to the greater society in Nigeria, then you start to see the significant impact this project has cultivated. First and foremost, you know that most of our refined products in Nigeria today are imported, simply because the refineries are not optimally functioning. And averagely, this country imports refined products to the tune of about $15 billion every year. For every opportunity that you can stop importation of refined products, such that is brought upon by the full execution of a project, you are just you're plugging a hole, and then think in terms of job creation that hovers around the operationality of our facility, the people who come in to buy products, who take it to faraway places in Nigeria. So the multiplier effect is quite tremendous.
On how the company adheres to best practices, he had this to say.
The petroleum industry is very global, and therefore there are no Nigerian standards as it were. The industry is such that there are international standards. The DPR is the regulator of ensuring that those international standards are complied with, whether you're a Nigerian company or an international company. So for us as a company, there's no halfway into this whole journey. You either subscribe and live within those international best practices, or you are not in the business at all.
His views about BOI is indeed a motivation to do more.
Well, for the oil industry, which is perceived as a very specialized environment, funding has been very, very difficult to obtain, particularly from commercial banks. Now, you must understand that commercial banks, in the way they work, do what I call general purpose lending. But for the oil business, there are various components. It's got to be long term, it's got to be a lot of money going to one single end user. And you know that is, or if you put all those things together, those would be risks that commercial banks are very, very nervous about. So there has never been what I call adequacy of funding coming into the oil industry from commercial banks, simply because there's absolutely very little understanding of how the industry works, the kind of risk the industry lives through. Most commercial banks would rather not bother themselves. So let's come back into the perspective of how BOI has come into this very uncharted terrain. The fact that we can get big money, long term, structured in such a way that it is convenient for the bank as well as the recipient, like us, to come to terms as to how best to deploy that money and how to make sure that the money, ultimately is used for the purpose it is obtained for, and it is at the same time, over time, returned with sufficiency of whatever interest back to the bank. So this is the difference that this whole opportunity has brought when you compare it to if we had to go to a commercial bank to go and borrow money. I can tell you it's a very, very painful exercise.
Modular refineries is a quick way of getting to the industry in terms of refining, and involving local community. For a long time, a lot of people have gotten licenses, but the biggest challenge for many of them is how to raise the money, to finance those refineries. Niger Delta, is the first one. They've had a modular refinery for some years now. So now they're expanding, We have seen their track record. They have done very well. In fact, for Niger Delta, we did not even wait for the money from the Nigerian Local Content Development Board. We disbursed directly, and they did another 5,000 barrels refinery, and they are about to do a third phase. So we are happy that we are part of that development and the investment. Of course, you're going to have more employment. Capacity is increasing, because anybody that wants to do that now, you can talk to, somebody else in the industry who might be able to provide information. More Nigerian experts are being trained overseas. More money comes in. And because we are, adding value. We're not just taking crude alone. We are adding value to the crude, that comes out. The country benefits. So it's a win-win for everybody. I see us funding more modular refineries in the next couple of months, because there are some of them who are talking to us now, and the talks are advanced. They've done a lot of work, and we believe that we're going to do more financing in that area.
Well, what else can we say? You heard Dr. Lai Fatona's comment on the Bank of Industry's support. We are also excited that Niger Delta Refinery is filling the gaps in the oil refining shortage in the country. The external dependence often results in epileptic supply that led from time to time scarcities. Until the emergence of modular refineries, many have felt that the challenges of increasing Nigeria's petroleum refining capacity was intractable. However, following the Bank of Industry's intervention in this segment of the petroleum refining value chain, some silver lining have started emerging in this subsector of the petroleum industry. The more modular refineries that operate in the country, the brighter the outlook for domesticating Nigeria's production capacity of refined petroleum products. I hope you've been inspired by today's episode of BOI Impact. Our doors are open to those who are ready to convert the abundant natural resources in Nigeria to finished or intermediate goods. It's on this note that we'll call it a day on today's program. Join us again next week for another inspiring package. I am Hadiza Olaoshibiko. Do have yourself an enterprising week. Bye for now.
Have you ever imagined a time when you could apply for and get a loan from the comfort of your bedroom? Or prayed that the processing time was shorter? Well, it is now a reality with the fast and swift Bank of Industry real-time online loan application initiative.
The BOI online loan application portal is designed to deliver access and convenience to prospecting SME customers by ensuring that applicants need not have to physically visit the bank. Applicants simply have to submit all necessary documents via the online portal with the liberty to select their preferred BOI state office wherein their applications will be processed. How it works? Simply search the keyword Bank of Industry and download your mobile app from Play Store for Android users, BlackBerry App World for BlackBerry users, and Apple Store for iPhone users. Click on the Apply button. Click on Register to register your account. A verification link and tracking code will be sent to your registered email address. Click on the verification link to facilitate login. Once logged in, you can complete your application, submit, and click on Continue to start tracking your loan application. An email will be sent to your email address confirming receipt of the application. With this initiative, BOI has reduced its loan application and processing turnaround time. Start applying for your loan right away. Bank of Industry, transforming Nigeria's industrial sector.